Greetings, YouTube. The Doctor is in. Dr. Urias Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And welcome back to the channel that brings power gaming to the next level. Today on the Doctor Spell Prognosis, we are talking about the 9th level spell, Mass Polymorph. We are giving this one an S, just like we gave Polymorph. But first, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like this video. Hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. All right, Mass Polymorph is a 9th level spell usable by bards, sorcerers, and wizards. Warlocks could pick this up with Mystic Arcanum, of course. It is one action, casting 120 feet range, verbal and somatic and material components, which we don't care about because it's worthless. Lasts for an hour with concentration. You absolutely want to concentrate on this. So basically the biggest difference, there's a couple of pointed differences. They're aesthetic differences between this spell and Polymorph. They're not really mechanical differences. So Mass Polymorph will transform up to 10 creatures of your choice that you can see within range, whereas Polymorph, which we've got right here, transforms a creature. And the range here is only 60 feet. The range here is 120 feet. So an unwilling creature must succeed on a wisdom saving throw. That didn't change. An unwilling shape changer automatically succeeds on the save. So shape changers, the spell has no effect on shape changers or creatures with 0 hit points. An unwilling shape changer automatically succeeds on saves. I don't really know why. Well, this spell came out of the basic rules in the player's handbook. This spell, not sure why, wasn't in the player's handbook, but it's from Xanthar's Guide to Everything. So there is a little bit of a writing style difference between the two, but mechanically they're very similar. Each target assumes a beast form. So I don't know how I feel about that. Technically, this could probably be an 8th level spell, but they decided to make it a 9th level. So it's still a beast. You can choose the same form or different ones for each target. The new form can be any beast you have seen. Okay, transfer in the new form can be any beast whose challenge rating. So it doesn't say here that you have seen it, but this one says that you have seen, whose challenge rating is equal to or less than the target's or half the target's level if the target doesn't have a challenge rating. So you can't take a bunch of cockroaches and turn them into Tyrannosaurus Rexes. That would be limiting. But you can turn your party into Tyrannosaurus Rexes. So the target's game statistics, including mental ability scores, are replaced by the statistics of the chosen beast, but the target retains its hit points, alignment, and personality. So that's really important. That's very important. Personality and alignment. So that is, if you were to change your party into a bunch of Tyrannosaurus Rexes, they would have the intelligence of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. But if they were all lawful good, they'd still all be lawful good. And if they all had specific personalities, they would still have that. Each target, even though it'd be dumb as a rock. So each target gains a number of temporary hit points equal to the hit points in the new form. These temporary hit points cannot be replaced by temporary hit points from another source. The target reverts to its normal form when it has no more temporary hit points or it dies. Okay. I don't... If it's dead, it's dead. I guess it reverts back to its normal form, but it's dead. If the spell ends before then, the creature loses all temporary hit points and reverts to its normal form. That's pretty much along the same lines as this, except the target assumes the hit points of the new form, which can... This thing can be healed, whereas these are temporary hit points, so this cannot necessarily be healed because you can't really heal temporary hit points. And you can't replace them either. So this one can be healed, so you can keep this form going for a while with healing. This one is just got a set number of hit points, and when they're gone, and it's over. The creature is limited in actions it can perform by the nature of its new form. It cannot speak, cast spells, or do anything else that requires hand or speech. The target's gear melds in the new form. The target can't activate, use, wield, or otherwise benefit from any of its equipment. That's pretty much the same as these last ones. So very similar. There's some rule mechanics updates and some aesthetic writing differences. But for the most part, They both do the same. One just affects 10 creatures where the other one only affects 1. All right. Some pros for this spell. It's 1 action to affect 10 creatures. That's awesome. Has a range of 120 feet, which is twice that of Polymorph. It has a duration of an hour. There's a lot that you can do in an hour. We're going to talk about that. It's a wisdom saving throw. We love that. That's awesome. Cons, it's beast only. So I guess they had to limit it somehow. The temporary hit point thing can be a little bit confusing, but it's not like Polymorph where you assume the hit points of the new form. You do not do that with this one. You only get temporary hit points. So you have to keep that in mind. And then you have the mental stats. So you're not going to be probably as intelligent as you were, but you still keep your personality and your alignment. Okay, so let's talk about some monsters that you can transform into. So you could transform into a Tyrannosaurus Rex. They do have an intelligence of 2. So it says you have to have seen it. Now, there is this thing right here from Baldur's Gate, the Traxagore, from Baldur's Gate Descent into the Avernus. If you've seen one of these, so this is a little sketchy. This thing has an intelligence of 20. It's a beast, and it's got up to 9th level spells. Okay, just saying, if somebody went on a quest to find one of these, then, okay, it's got lightning bolt. It has 3 cones of cold, up to 3 lightning bolts, misty step. I mean, look, this was a wizard that transformed into an otter and is now a basically wizard beast. So take it with a grain of salt. DMs beware. This will break your game pretty massively. Now, Tyrannosauruses, like I said, if everybody is lawful good, then these are all lawful good. They keep their personality, but they're not real super intelligent. Again, the Tyrannosaurus has a speed of 50 feet, 136 hit points. It gets 1 attack with its bite and 1 attack with its tail. Can't make against the same target, and it does a lot of damage. A lot of damage. There are a few other options too, like the huge crab from White Plume Mountain. Again, this has an intelligence score of 1. It gets 1 attack, yada, yada, yada. And then, and then we get into the lower ones too. We've got the giant ape. Actually, the giant ape has a pretty good intelligence, and it gets 2 fist attacks, which do nice damage, and it's got a climb speed, so that's pretty good. We've got mammoths, triceratops. I think the first thing in here that can fly is where is it? Oh, it's way down here. There are a few dinosaurs that can fly, and like giant eagles and things like that. It's right here. So this thing can fly. It has very low intelligence, and it has a bite attack, which does pretty good damage. So So one thing that you can do with this, because it's huge, is you could pick something up. You could grapple it, pick it up, and then drop it. You move half your move and then drop it. So the other side of the coin is that you can transform enemies into things that you can deal with, like a frog. I always like the frog. Frog has a speed of 20 feet. It's got 1 hit point, and that's basically it. That's what it is. And so what kinds of things could you do with that? Well, a bag of holding technically could hold a medium creature. So remember that this thing is going to get 1 temporary hit point. You throw it in the bag, you close the bag, it can't get out. If it's a medium creature, it is going to eventually suffocate. It will die, and it'll revert back to its normal form. So it'll lose that temporary hit point. It'll revert back to its normal form, and then it'll suffocate inside the bag. Portable Hull works exactly the same way, except it can hold multiple creatures because it's a 10-foot space. So you could technically put a large creature in this. You could throw them into a demi-plane and leave them there forever, or open it back up later on and have them pour out, in their normal form. And of course, there's plane shift. This only works on one creature here. You could choose a willing creature, choose a creature within your reach, and make a melee spell attack against it on a hit. It's got to make a charisma saving throw, which is great. And then you transport it to the negative energy plane, where then it immediately transforms back into its normal self and dies because only undead things can live there. So there is that. So what classes do we like with this? Of course, we like a Bard of Eloquence, so we can do unsettling words. And we can assign a negative to this saving throw, which the saving throw should be pretty high. It should be around a 20 or a 21 at this point. And for wizards, we like the Portent. You get 3 dice. One of them is probably going to be low, and you can use that and replace one of their saving throws. For sorcerers, I always like the Wild Magic Sorcerer. You got the Bend Luck ability, and that'll put a penalty on saving throws as well. All right, that is what I have for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody later.